Okay, good to vach everybody. We're learning this evening Linu Nishmas Yisrael Meir ben Shalom. The Neshama should have an aliyah. We're up to Ayin Ches Amid Beis. We're still in the sugya of Daled Vehei, and the following discussion takes place. Boy Rav Papa, 3 lines to the bottom. Gonva, a person steals an animal that's totally intact. Now the animal is totally intact. However, Kata, then he went ahead and he maimed the animal. He cut off the animal's leg, let's say. Umachra, and he sold it. So mahu. Mi amina my deganav haloi savin. What he stole, he didn't sell, and therefore it's not a mechira, and you won't be chayiv daled v'hei. After all, he stole a totally intact animal, and he's going ahead and he's replacing it with an animal that's mutilated, and therefore you would not pay daled v'hei. Idilma madisavin haloi shaya. Whatever he sold, he didn't leave over. Remember, we entered the sugya with the idea of selling something chutz a hundred of it, right? It was selling something chutz from a certain percentage of it. So in this case, he didn't leave over anything. So do we go after the mechira or do we go after the geneva? The Gemara this says teku. We'll have to wait for Eliyahu Navi to answer that question. Pan Rabbanan, ganav v'nosnan la'acher v'tavach. Now, it can't be that he stole it, he gave it to another person, and then the person shechted it, right? That can't be the case, because if he gave it over to the person, that's a matana. That would be a mechira, guys. In other words, you'd have a transfer of reshus. If you stole it and gave it over to somebody, so the tficha afterwards would be a moot point, because he'd be chayiv daled v'hei on the nesina of the matana. So that's not the case. So if you look at Rashi, the bottom line, leinostin matana, he didn't give it to the person as a matana. The im kain, I feel light tavach mechayev. Even if he didn't shecht it, he'd be chayev. And the sina mishum mechira k'ditani seifa. Elo asa shliach letficha oil mechira. So the case is ganav. He went ahead and stole it, and then he gave it to the fellow to either sell it or shecht it. So this is the concept of yesh shliach l'dvar avera. So in other words, the person he gave it to, he's not the mekabel matana. He made him a shliach to then go ahead and either sell it or shecht it. So what's the halacha? Says the next case. We're getting a slew of cases. Amid Aleph, Gonav v'higdish. He steals the animal and he's magdish the animal, and also Gonav v'hikif. If he goes ahead, he steals the animal, and then he sells the animal on credit. Like he didn't receive any money for the animal, but he gave the animal on credit. Or Gonav v'hichlif. He did chalipim with the animal, shava b'shava, something for another thing. He bartered it, in other words. V'chein also Gonav v'nosna b'matana, as we just stated. Gonav u'parachayvai. He stole it and paid off his chayv with it. You know, he owed people money, and he used it as a means of payment. Gonav upara behekefai. Now he pays his credit card bill with the shar. What is that? In all those Gonav v'shalach savlunusa. He goes ahead, he sells it, and afterwards he uses it as an engagement gift. He's right to Beis Chamav. He sends it to the father-in-law's house as a what was called savlunus. All these cases, Mishalim Tashlumi Abar B'Chamisha. In all these cases, it's considered a mechira, and he's going to go ahead and pay daled v'hei. Fred Gemara, my kamash mulan. What's the time of the Baisa teaching me? It says Gemara Ashminon Reisha. In the first case of the Reisha, that Gona v'nasan la'acher v'tavach. That if he steals it, gives it to another person, and that person goes ahead and shechs it, the yesh shliach l'dvar aveira. Again, one of the 3 places we say yesh shliach l'dvar aveira. This is one of them. Shlich hashad and meila being the other 2. That's the chiddush of this brisa. Despite the fact that he told the person to do an aveira because he already stole it, and now he's going to get around and he's shechting it. Yesh shliach l'dvar aveira to be mechayev him daled v'hei. So avagav the b'chol Torah kula ain't shliach l'dvar aveira. Even though b'chol Torah kula we say ain't shliach l'dvar aveira, hacha yesh shliach l'dvar aveira. Over here we're going to say yesh shliach l'dvar aveira. My timer. Why do we say yesh shliach l'dvar aveira? Again, we had this. It says utafachoi umacharoi. We go ahead and compare the tficha to the mechira. Ma mechira d'layevshad layal yedei acher. It takes 2 to tango. You need a lokeach in order to be chayiv. You need a lokeach. Af tficha al yedei acher can be facilitated through another individual. Mechayiv. So that's the chiddush of the Reisha. Bashmin on Seifa, the Seifa of the Brisa, that teaches us that Gona v'higdish, if you're going to and you magdish it, mali machal lehedya, mali machal shemayim. Now, you might remember, guys, we had this Gemara the other day, And we said that you're not chayiv. In other words, we had the kasha fellas. If I steal an animal and I magdish the animal, and then I shech the animal, you don't pay daled v'hei. Ask the Gemara, why am I not chayiv on the actual act of being magdashit? When I'm magdish the animal, that should constitute a mechira, because it's going from my rishus to that rishus. That was the kasha. And we answered that before, when you sell something, it's first the Tur de Ruvain, and then when it's transferred to Loikeach, it's Tur de Shimon. But by the carbon, when you steal a carbon, it's called Ruvain's carbon. And even when you magdash it, the carbon itself is Oil Ruvain. Rabbi said you have to remember. I said to Dov Sandberg, you have to be magdash. You have to be makravit l'shem bailam. Correct, Dov? You remember that. So what's the Gemara saying over here? Is the Gemara going back on that, retracting? Because Gemara is saying that Gona v'higdash shechayev. So if you look at Taisvis, he answered quite succinctly. Gona v'higdash misham dala v'hei kidefarish mali machul lahedye mali machul shamayim v'ayri, and it's speaking about b'kodshei bedek habayis like shaykh lameima meikara tur de ruvain v'hashta tur de ruvain. There's different types of kachim. There's kachim that is kodesh for intrinsically it's kodesh, meaning like an animal. It's what we call kedushas aguf. And then we have said something that's kodesh, it's kodesh the domim for its value, which we call kedushas bedek habayis, literally for the upkeep of the temple. This discussion over here is speaking about kodesh bedek habayis, and therefore the act of kedusha is considered a change of ownership, and therefore it would constitute a mechira, and therefore it's yikayv daled v'hei. That's important, or else it's a whole stereotype study we just did. Previously, you said kind of hegdish. You needed the act of tficha after the hegdish, right? Over here, it's saying the act of kiddush alone does the job. Because here it's speaking about kedusha bedek habayis, and we don't say the svara of before it was Torah the Ruvain, and now it's Torah the Ruvain. That's the chiddush of the sefer. Okay, says the Mishnah. The very sadistic Mishnah, guys. Gonav b'shus habaylim. Now let's as a means of a hakdama. We spoke about kinyonim. In other words, in order for a person to get ownership of something, so in law we say usually if you're buying something, cash is king. You give kesef is kaina. We know by metaltalin that it's a machloikis between a huge machloikis in Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish whether kesef is kaina or not. According to Rabbi Yochanan, kesef is not kaina. A kesef is kaina. When I give money, it's really mine. But we're worried that if you don't take possession of it, the person, the lashon of the Gemara, Shema Nisraf Chitcha Ba'aliyah, you buy wheat, it's going to burn in his attic because he doesn't care because that is. So they made a takana that in order to go ahead and be kaina metaltalin, kesef's not enough. You need a kinyan. We spoke about different objects require different kinyanim. If it's stam metaltalin, Mashiach, you go from Yorishus and bring it to Yorishus. That's really the one kinyan we need for this sugya. The concept of Mashiach, not Mashiach, Mashicha, literally drawing. For a ganif to be a ganif, he has to make a kinyan. For a ganif to be a ganif, he has to make a kinyan. So Mashicha usually goes from one rishus to another rishus. There is a kinyan, however, that's koine b'chol makom. That's the act of hagbah. If I'm stealing this iPhone, and even though I'm in Yitzi's house, it's Yitzi's iPhone. If I would do this now, I'd acquire it through hagbah. So there's the kinyan hagbah that's koine b'chol makom. The kinyan mashicha, you have to go from one rishus to another rishus. In order to go ahead and be a ganif, you have to do a kinyan. With that in mind, let's begin. Gona b'rishus habaylim, v'tavach u'macha chutz mishusam. You steal it, you moishech it, right? You go ahead. You take it out of the Baal's Rishus. As soon as you do that, guys, you're a ganif. Why? That's considered Mashiach. You went from one Rishus to the other Rishus. And then Tavach Macha Chutz Mishusam. Oisha Ganav Chutz Mishusam, V'Tavach Macha Mishusam, the opposite. You stole it outside, then you went inside. Oisha Ganav V'Tavach Macha Chutz Mishusam, right? Or you stole it and you shechted Chutz Mishusam. In all these cases, you're going to go ahead, and be chayiv daled v'hei. Says Rashi. Let's do Rashi's. The tvachim mechara chutz mishusai, kishahitzim mishusai. As soon as you take it out of his jurisdiction, nasilov ganif, you become a ganif v'kanu. Oisha ganav chutz mishusai. Now, how is that? How does that facilitated? Kana b'Mashicha miyad. Right? If you kind of chutz mishusay, you become through Mashicha. V'nasa ganav alav. Aval ganav v'tavach u'macha b'shusay. If everything takes place in his rishus pata, you know why? You never became a ganav, fellas, because the nasa ganav. You never became a ganav. You never became a ganav. That's why. When you went ahead, what? Everything took place in his rishus, with the exception if you did hagbah. If you did hagbah, then you'll be chayim. Right? If you look at Taisvis, guys. If you look at Taisvis. If you look at Taisus, what does Taisus say? Aval ganav v'tavach hamacha b'shusay pata b'shaloi higbiu. It's speaking where you didn't do a hagbah askinon. The hagbah have a koine v'chayiv kidol kamon. Because if you did hagbah, you'd be chayiv. Right? As I illustrated you with the iPhone. If you would have done that, you would be chayiv. So good. So you have your side, right? Your side is in order to be to kickstart, guys, to kickstart the chiyav daled v'hei, you have to become a ganif. You have to be chayiv, right? You have to become a ganif that's chayiv kefel. Ganif that's chayav kefil, and if you're not a ganif that's chayav kefil, then you're not going to be chayav daled v'hei. So now, whether in this case, I'm not even chayav the keren, guys. L'chayra. In this case, I'm not even chayav the keren because I never became a shem ganif. Aval ganav v'tavach u'macher b'shusam. That's the case right back in the Mishnah. If you go ahead and steal shech and sell in b'shusam, pata. Why? Right. You pata because you never were a ganif. You never were ganif. You're schlepping it out. V'yoitza, and it goes out. Umeis b'shus habaylim pata. You're doing the act Mashicha, but you never left the rishus of the owner. So it constitutes what? It constitutes a shem geneva. You weren't kaina, so you pata, right? Higbiu, if you lift it up, mishus baylim umeis. Then chayiv. Now, l'chayr over here, you only be chayiv kefil, right? Because it died, you didn't sell it, and you didn't shecht it. So over here, in this case, you would be what? You'd be chayiv kefil, right? Because you didn't go ahead and shecht it or sell it. Nasnu lebechayres benoi. The ganif goes ahead. He steals the shor of the seh, and before he's moitzi b'shus bailim, he gives it to a kohen as what? For his chamisha slayim. We know for pidyon aben, you have to make slayim. So he goes and he takes the shardus and belongs to somebody, and l'chari he didn't take it out of the rishus, and he gives it to the kohen as for pidyon aben. Oil bal chayiv, or he gives it in for a chayiv. He's paying off a chayiv, or he gives it l'shem achinam, right, to watch it, or l'shayel to use it, l'naisesacha a renter, a shema sacher, or the seicher, and the kohen or the bal chayiv or the shomer or the shoyel or the seicher. They go ahead and pull it out, right? Umeis, and the shor dies. B'shus habaylim pata, and the shus habaylim be pata. Higbiu, if one of these kinyanim are done, or one of them take it out, b'shus baylim umeis, then chayiv. The ganav will be chayiv to pay kefil, because he's kinda through the hagbah or the mashiach of these people to pay kefil. Now it's very interesting over here. I have written it over here. The chiyav kefil, when he gives the chiyav kefil is when he gives it to a shomer, and the chiyav abra chamisha when he gives it to the kohen. When he's giving it to the kohen, the bal chayiv, guys, watch, look at me. When you give it to the shomer to watch, there's no tficha and there's no mechira. You're giving it to watch. However, when you give it over to the kohen or the bal chayiv, then you're going ahead and facilitating a change. So therefore, the chiyav would be daled v'hei. So this is the pshat of the Tosfos Rid. The Tosfos Rid learns over here chayiv is a split chiyav, because we had three distinct cases. We had the case of, well, really two. We had the case of the kohen, the bal chayiv, where he's paying a chayiv, either the chiyav of pidyon aben or the chiyav of paying off his debt, or the chiyav of giving it to a shomer to watch. When he gives it to a shomer to watch, there's no tficha and there's no mechira. When he gave it to him, the kohen to pay the kohen, there was a mechira. So he wanted to say that when it says chayiv over here, the ganif by the shomer he's chayiv kefil. By the kohen he be chayiv daled v'hei. That's what the Tosfos Rid wants to say. Other people argue, say he's only chayiv what kefil in both cases. Okay, just be aware of that. That's the machlokes. Boya Meimer. Meimer has the following question: Tekinu Meshicha b'Shomrim Eloi. Did they make him takana that the Shomrim, in order the Shayel, the Samachinam, the Seicher, the Nasisacha, and the shoyl, in order to watch it, to be in their rishus, do they require a kinyan, fellas, just like business and just like a ganif? Obviously, you're going to be placed from my Mishnah, yes, correct? In other words, do you acquire a kinyan? You're placing in your rishus to watch it. Do you acquire a kinyan? Rav Yema, Amar Rav Yemar, Toshma, Nasnu lebechayres benoi, Mishnah, if you paid your chiyuv of pinyan aben, oil bal chayv, or l'shoym echinam l'shoyl nesisacha v'seicher, hayemayshcha v'yaitzu ameis b'shus bailam pater. My love shoymer, right? That the shoymer is pater u'shmamino tekinu m'shicha b'shoymrim, and shmamino that what we then we're talking, the shoymer is not chayiv to watch it, right? The shoymer that he's not chayiv to watch it, he's not chayiv to pay because it never was in his rishus. Amalei loy leganif. The ganif is right. It's speaking about the ganif, but not the shoymer. For the Gemara, ratio we already learned in the ratio. So we learned if the ganif is schlepping it out and it dies in the rishus, it's pata. So if you're telling me the case of the ganif is pata, why do you have to tell me the case about the shoymer is pata? So it's more a ton of ganif shagonim beis abaylim, the ton of ganif shagonim beis shoymer. We're learning two cases. We're learning the ganif that steals from a regular guy, or the ganif that steals from a shoymer. In other words, but you have no raya that the kinyanim b'shoymim. Only Ravashi leitidchei. Right? Don't go ahead and give me a doichet to teretz. Don't give me a push of teretz. Mali gonav shegonim beis shoymer, umali ganav shegonim beis bailam. L'chayr, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference who you're stealing it from. If he never was a kinyan, you're pater. Elav shoymer, it must be going on the shoymer that he's pater. Shmamina tekinu mishich mishoyim shmamina. It's a good raya, guys. So it's a good raya. In order for a shoymer to be a shoymer, he has to make a kinyan. It's not enough to say, guys, you watch my thing and leave. You're not a shoymer. Just him saying, okay, I watch it. It's not enough. You have to do a kinyan. Okay, you have to do a kinyan. Itmanami, Amar Abelazar Kedershet Kinu Mashicha B'Lekuchais, just like they were attacking Mashicha when you purchase something. Kach Techinu Mashicha B'Shoymim, so they were attacking Mashicha B'Shoymim. Tanya Nami Hachi, a Brisa, now a Lashon, till now it's been Amaroyim, Tanya Nami Hachi. Kedershet Tekinu Mashicha B'Lekuchais, Kach Tekinu Mashicha B'Shoymim. Ukashem Shah Karka, Niknas Bekesef Shtar V'Chazaka, just we know as Karka is acquired with Kesef Shtar and Chazaka. Kach Schiris Niknas Bekesef Shtar V'Chazaka. So too, the act of renting also requires those kinyanim. The exact same kinyanim that are required by a purchaser of land would be required by a renter, as we're going to see, a renter of land, as we'll see in a second. Schiris Tamai, what he's speaking about on the base. Elam is Schiris the Metaltlin, he's speaking about renting Metaltlin B'nei Shtarin, Metaltlin what? B'nei Shtarin. Right? In other words, the Chasim Metaltlin, they can't be quiet with a shtar, right? And we spoke at Kesef, is not Koina, right? So l'chayra, you have to do, it must be speaking what? Amar Chista Schiris the Karka, must be speaking about Schiris the Karka. So again, the Gemara takes out a pitch from the Mishnah, that a Nakuda, a nugget. The fact that the case of Mashicha B'Shoymim that's pata is because it never was acquirement. So why? So what do you see? It wasn't in Rishus of the Shomer. So we can ascertain, in order to be a Shomer of something, you need the kinyan, the same kinyan that you require in business transactions, you require in when it comes to facilitating a person watching it. It should be in Rishus in watching. Amar Olaza says Rabbi Olaza, Ru'u Adam see shehitmin b'chayrashin. They see that this person is hiding he's in the field, and there's a bunch of animals there, and this person is hiding in order to steal from the other shayman. This is the way Rashi and Taisus learns, right? Look at Taisus quickly. Shehitmin atzmai, right? He goes ahead and he hides himself. V'sal kedaitach shahola b'chashay v'tavach habehem b'makom shahu shemachi parach v'olei mashach. In other words, the Havamina is, what did he do? He hid in the field, and he got hungry, and he went himself some lamb chops. So we said, guys, in order for the ganef to be a ganef, he has to make a kinyan, correct? Where's the kinyan geneva to mechayivim for the tficha and the lamb chops? That's going to be the Gemara's kasha. So again, Amar Abelasa, Ra'u shehitmin b'charshin v'tovach u'machar m'shan tashlumi abar v'chamisha. For the Gemara, Amai, why does he pay? Halei mashach. We just said a whole Gemara. You need a kinyan. In order to be chayiv, you need a kinyan. It has to be what? In your rishus. Where's the kinyan? Geneva. Amrav Chista, Shekisha b'makal. We saw, guys, in Masech the Kedushin, if you go ahead and hit it with a stick and you cause it to move, that's Mashicha. right? It picks up its legs. That's Mashicha. So you hit it with a stick, you cause it to move. That constitutes a kinyan, and you be chayiv. It says Va'avami Kivin Fregdemar Akasha the Kivin de Reuhu. Since they see him, Goslin who? Since they see him, he's a Goslin. We know a ganif is somebody goes ahead and he steals clandestinely, where he's not seen. Over here, right? Since the Adim saw him, right? He's a ganif. He's a Goslin, and a ganif doesn't pay kefil. Says the Gemara, Kivin de Matri Menayu. Since he hid from them, Ganafu, he's a ganif. Since he hid from them, he's a ganif. Now, there's a question you could always ask, fellas. If you have to be chayiv Adim on Geneva, how could you ever have a ganif? You always have two people who saw him steal. What's the difference in Geneva and Gezela? Geneva does it privately, Gezela does it publicly, right? So if you need Adim on the Geneva, so where's the clandestine? So look at Rashi. Rashi answers the question. The Kivin the Re'ut the Gazlan who? And it's not where a guy steals in front of two where he's a ganif. The Hosnam over there, Afagav the Chazile, Shar Inshi, Loy Mustafi Minayu. Right? Even though they see him from other people, Loy Mustafi Minayu, the Meima Omar, he says, Loy Minayu Shakil Namidi. You're not taking anything from these guys. Elachorshin Meira'a Lecholhi. When he went ahead and he's in the field and he's hiding, since what? He's not mistafi mikuli alma. Since he's not scared of anyone, he's a gazlan. In other words, over here, he has no reason to fear because there's so many people over there. Who's he going to be scared of? By the ganif, he sees these two people, but he figures these two people they don't know. I don't think it's theirs, so he's not scared of them. So basically, but he's scared of somebody else. Over here, he's not scared of anybody because obviously it could be any one of these people's animals. Therefore, what he's considered a gazlan. Says the Gemara, Hechidami, the gazlan Hechidami. What's the classic gazlan? Maybe he's hiding. He's a guy. From Rabbi going ben Yahoda. It says by ben Yahu, Shnema vayigzol es hachanis miyad mitzri. He stole the chanis from the hands of the mitzri. So obviously the mitzri knows who the person is. He's taking it from him. But Yargeh when he killed him with it. The chanisa with his own spear. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Kegoin Bali Shchem. By Bali Shchem, this is by Avimelech, who was not such a good guy in Seifa Shoiftim by Shiras Devorah. It's the parak after Shiras Devorah. It's not a Pashtin. Okay, Bnei Shchem. So what happened by Bnei Shchem? What does it say by Bnei Shchem? It says Vayasimu loy Bali Shchem me'arvim al Roshei Haharim. They became ambushes on the mountains. And they went ahead and they stole from anyone who passed their way. So you see that's coming out and stealing your gazlan. My time, Rabbi Yoav, why did Rabbi Yoav not like about Binayahu? Why didn't he like about that? So Malach, Rabbi Yoav said Binayahu. Why didn't he like about the shot from the Bnei Shchem? Malach, Rabbi Yoav would say, even the Mitame, since they're hiding initially at Murei, Lav Gazlaninu. In other words, they're ambushing this guy. So the fact that they go ahead and go to hide makes them a ganif. Masha'en came by Binayahu, he was out in the open. Rabbi Yochanan, why he brings from this pasuk, they were hiding. Says the Gemara, that they hid wasn't because of fear. It was that that people should see them, and escape. In other words, if you're hiding because you're scared, that's a ganif. If you're hiding to facilitate the act of robbery, that's a gazlan. So the fact they hid is just that they shouldn't see them on the way. Okay. Showed a very, very famous agadita. Sholo Talmida bes Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Why does the Torah? Why does the Torah go ahead and we will machmer by a ganef and a gazlan? After all, he pays dollar kefil, he pays dollar behei. A gazlan pays keren. That's it. So Rabbi Yochanan told him, the gazlan that steals in front of people, hishva kovid eved, the kovid koinai. He goes ahead and he equates the kovid of the eved, the kovid of koinai. He's not scared of either one of them, right? But however, by the ganif, lo hishva kovid eved, the kovid koinai. He's more scared of people than he is the Rabbeinu Shalom. That's why he hides some people. Kavayachal asa ayin shalmata. He makes the eye of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Kilueinu roya, so he doesn't see. The oizen shalmata or the oizen of shmata. Kilueinu shamas. Shenema, the pasuk says, "Hoi hamamikim me Hashem." The people that they think Hashem doesn't know their machshavos that are hidden in their hearts. Laster etza. They want to go ahead and hide their ways from people. V'hoya b'mach sheikh ma'aseihem, and therefore they clandestinely hide their ways. Ukasiv, it says afterwards, Vayomer lo yirah yikah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not see our deeds. V'lo yavin alakei Yaakov. Ukasiv ki amru osav Hashem es aretz ve'ein Hashem roya. So this is why the Ganef, this is the famous reason why a Ganef pays kefil, because he's more scared of people than the Bnei Shloim. Mashenit in the Gazlan equates both and only pays Karen. Reb Meir, mashlu mishumat Rebbe Gamliel, Maha David Doime. What's the Ganef who doesn't fear Kadosh Baruch Hu, only fears people? What's he compared to? The Shnei Bnei Adam, two people. Shahaya Be'ir, they were in the city. V'yasa Mishte, they make a party. Echad Ziman Es Bnei Ir. One of them goes ahead and invites people to the party. V'leizimin Es Bnei HaMelech, but he doesn't invite the prince. V'yechad Leizimin Es Bnei Ir. V'leizimin Es HaMelech. And one doesn't invite the prince and doesn't invite what? The people. Ezaman Oisha Meruba. Right? Who's worse? Haviyomer Zesh Zimin Es Bnei Ir. V'leizimin Es Bnei HaMelech. The one who invites the people and doesn't invite the prince. So the one who goes ahead and invites the one who steals from people and doesn't invite the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he is worse. Amar Ameya. Borei Kamagadol Koyach Shel Malacha. Look at the Koyach Malacha. Shor Shebit Lo Mimalachdoi. A shor that usually a person goes ahead and works with, and he pulls his field, and you need it to work your field, right? Shalom Chamisha. You're going to go ahead and pay Chamisha. You're going to pay 5, because by stealing the shor, the guy won't be able to do his work. The seh, which is not a matam malacha, because the seh doesn't work, then arba you only pay 4. That's the opinion of what of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai borei kama gadol kavod abrius. Look how great kavod abrius is. Shor shahalach beraglov, a shor that walks by itself. You're stealing it. It's just walking along. Chamisha, you pay 5. Shesha kiva ksefoi. However, a seh that you go ahead and you ride it on your shoulders, so it's embarrassing to carry the seh. In that case, you're going to pay arba. I will stop over here. Good tavach. Say a kapitel. Tell him.